the nuclear ghost town of Pripyat, life, death, and what's left behind. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are exploring the stories of people who disappeared without a trace and uncovering the secrets of what really happened in this forbidden zone. A reactor overheats and explodes, releasing massive amounts of radiation into the air and contaminating surrounding areas. Within seconds, the area around the plant becomes stuck in time, killing anyone who doesn't immediately leave the area and mutating anything that remains behind. The explosion at the power plant released more radiation into the environment than any other nuclear accident. They were told that they would be returning home soon and that their belongings would be safe. However, that was far from the case. To this day, their belongings remain in their abandoned homes. And even though some items have started to deteriorate, most things are still relatively intact. As the nearby city of Pripyat became contaminated, authorities made the decision to evacuate the city and surrounding areas, which included 116,000 people from Pripyat alone. Over the years, wildlife has returned to the area, and it is now one of the most contaminated places on Earth. In the years since the disaster, there have been a few instances of people returning to Pripyat to retrieve personal belongings, or simply out of curiosity. The Ukrainian government has invested heavily in cleaning up the Chernobyl exclusion zone and restoring it to a safe state. However, it will likely be many years, if not centuries, before the area is free of radiation. However, these visits are carefully monitored and the zone remains largely off limits to outsiders. But despite the danger, some people have snuck into the zone illegally, and what they have found has been both fascinating and disturbing. After the Chernobyl disaster, the entire area around the power plant was evacuated and turned into a restricted zone. According to reports, there have been cases of people entering the zone illegally to retrieve personal belongings or to explore the abandoned city. However, it is unclear how many people have actually entered the zone illegally. The explosion at the power plant released a large amount of radioactive material into the environment, which contaminated the soil, water, and air. The city was designed to be a bustling hub of activity, and it is difficult to imagine it ever being used for that purpose again. However, there are plans to turn the area into a nuclear power plant museum and educational center. This would allow people to learn about the history of the Chernobyl disaster and the importance of nuclear safety. The statue was later recovered, but the teenagers were charged with theft and criminal trespassing. The explosion at the power plant resulted in the deaths of many people and the contamination of a large area of land. The city of Pripyat was badly affected by the disaster, and its residents were forced to abandon their homes and belongings. Despite the danger, some people have returned to the city to retrieve their belongings, or out of curiosity. And what they have found has been both fascinating and disturbing. The buildings are crumbling, the streets are empty, and the homes are filled with personal belongings that have been left untouched for decades. The area is still highly contaminated, and exposure to high levels of radiation can cause serious health problems. Additionally, the Ukrainian government has strict laws in place to protect the area, and anyone caught trespassing could face fines or even imprisonment. The cleanup of the Chernobyl disaster was a massive undertaking that involved thousands of people working to contain this radiation and decontaminate the area. Allowing people into the zone would have disrupted these efforts and put the workers at risk by keeping people out of the zone. Authorities hope to prevent the further spread of contamination and protect the health of those living outside the zone. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching. This meant that no one was supposed to enter the area without special permission. Anyone who did enter the zone risked being exposed to dangerous levels of radiation. In total, approximately 350,000 people were evacuated from the entire region. Some people have reported feeling sick after visiting the city, leading to speculation that the radiation may still be strong in certain areas. Others have claimed to see ghosts wandering the empty streets, leading to rumors of paranormal activity. While these reports cannot be verified, they add to the eerie atmosphere of the abandoned city. But what's even more eerie is what these urban explorers have found inside the abandoned homes. Furniture is still in place, as if the residents just stepped out for the day. Clothes are scattered around bedrooms and toys remain on the floor. It's like the city's residents vanished into thin air. It is April 26, 1986. At 1:23 a.m., an uncontrolled power surge occurs at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant near the small city of Pripyat in northern Ukraine. One diary entry from a young girl named Katya reads, "I'm scared. The adults are talking about something terrible happening at the power plant. I hope everything will be okay." These personal accounts provide a reminder that real people with hopes and dreams once called this place home. And while many stories have been told about the Chernobyl disaster, one question has remained unanswered. There are also strange health reports that have come out of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. According to some reports, animals in the area have developed mutations due to the high levels of radiation. These include two-headed wolves, dogs with extra legs, and fish that glow in the dark. While these reports may sound like the stuff of horror movies, they serve as a reminder of the devastating impact that radiation can have on living things. What happened to the residents of Pripyat? What became of their lives? And what was left behind when everyone fled? With a population of about 50,000 people, it had parks, schools, shops, and all the amenities of a modern city. But like other cities across the Soviet Union, there was little opportunity for the average person to escape the rigid social control enforced by the Communist Party. In fact, the citizens were not allowed to own a car unless they received special permission. This was an effort to limit freedom of movement and ensure that everyone conformed to the party's expectations. We will explore the forgotten city and uncover the spine-chilling truth about the zone no one was supposed to return to. But first, we need to go back to the beginning. Pripyat was a typical Soviet Union city built during the 1970s to house the workers of the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. But then in 1986, everything changed. The Chernobyl nuclear accident was one of the worst in history. Residents were given only a few minutes to pack a small bag and leave their homes. After the evacuation, the area was declared a nuclear exclusion zone and has been off limits to humans ever since. Buildings are crumbling, streets are empty, and playgrounds are overgrown with weeds. It looks like the city was just abandoned yesterday. What's even more haunting is that some homes have personal items like diaries and letters that offer a glimpse into the lives of those who once lived there. But it's not just the physical objects that have been left behind. Despite the danger, some people have chosen to return to the area. In the year since the disaster, much has been done to clean up the area. But what about those who have returned to Now let us take a look at the spine-chilling truth about the zone no one was supposed to return to. One of the main reasons why the zone was sealed off was to prevent the spread of radioactive contamination. Another reason for keeping the zone closed was to allow for cleanup efforts to take place. Despite the danger, some people have managed to sneak into the zone. One of the most famous cases of illegal entry into the Chernobyl zone occurred in 2006 when a group of teenagers snuck into the area and stole a statue of Lenin from a local school. It's important to note that entering the Chernobyl exclusion zone without permission is illegal and dangerous. As for what the future holds for Pripyat, it is unclear. In conclusion, the Chernobyl disaster was a tragedy that should never have happened. If you want to know more about the Chernobyl disaster and its aftermath, check out our other videos on our channel.